which is in direct proportion from what you saw. Well, what does your experience create? Your experience creates your reality, right? That's what you have. So your behaviors are what you're being, and your experience is what you're doing. Your reality is what you have. And we live in this paradigm where we are taught that if I have it, then I can do it, then I can be it. So that's the have, do, be paradigm. And what's really fascinating about this is we were listening to some music before we jumped onto this live, and I remember the person playing the music, I think it was Susie, she said, I'm working on happiness. We're all working on happiness. Happiness is so important, right? We live in a country where there's the pursuit of happiness. Well, happiness is so important and so fundamental to everybody, and it seems to be the most missing thing from most people. And the best gift that you could ever give to another person is the gift that you give yourself, which is being happy. If I'm happy, you're happy. Like I always tell people, when you're happy, I'm happy. We all want happiness, but we live in a society that taught us that if I have a lot of money, if I have the right relationship, if I have the big house or the nice car or the designer jeans or the fancy watch, whatever it is, if I have, then I'll be doing this thing that'll allow me to be happy. If I go on vacation, then I'll be doing this thing called hanging out by the beach in the water and drinking a Mai Tai. Then I'll be happy. Do you see how many things have to come before somebody's happy? As opposed to the way it should be, which is instead of have, do, be, it's be, do, have. You have to choose to be happy first. And out of that place of being, now everything you're doing comes from that place. How can you not have that which you've chosen to be? Does that make sense? Normally I do this with a blackboard, or a dry erase board, so you're able to follow my work. But the idea is with the loop, it starts with perspective, and perspective is your personality. So let that sink in real quick. This is so important. We all have a personality. You meet somebody, you go, that person has a lovely personality. That person has a really crappy personality. What gives here? Well, the personality is the personal perspective of reality. Okay? The personality is the personal perspective of reality. And so the only way to change your reality is to change your personal perspective of reality, which is to literally change your personality. So that's why the I am is so important, because think about it. If you're trying to teleport your consciousness from one state of being to another state of being. In fact, my sweatshirt here, you probably can't see it too well on the screen, but it says freedom is a state of mind. And what I believe is that freedom is a state of happiness. And that state of happiness stems from a state of mind. But we don't realize, well, we do now because science is helping us out, but did you know that we have two minds in the body? We always thought that we had one. That's what I was taught. We have a mind. But we now know that there's a separate set of transmitters in the heart. There's a whole neural network in the heart and in the mind. And so the heart is actually 4,000 times more powerful than the one up here in the brain. And so you have these two minds, one in the heart, one up here in the brain. And the idea is to synchronize these, right? To connect these. And we know that we can't think greater than we feel. So we have to work on how we feel first, which comes from what we look for, right? So if I'm watching scary movies, how's that make me feel? If I'm listening to negative music, if I'm having negative conversations, if I'm blaming, complaining, making excuses, all of these things lower my vibration. And so you have to realize and understand that only you can decide how you perceive the world around you. In other words, nothing has any meaning. I already said this, but I'm going to say it again because it's so important. Nothing has any meaning. Everything around you is neutral. Vanilla ice cream, chocolate ice cream, it's all neutral. The only thing that has any meaning is the meaning that you give it. And so you have to be very careful with how you give meaning to things. Does that make sense? I'm going
Absolutely.
Going fast here. But yeah, the state of mind is your moment by moment, right? We know that now is the only thing that exists. So we have the future, we have the past, but those are perceptions that we hold in our heart and our mind. They're experiences. The only thing that really exists is right now in this moment, and only you can decide your energy in this moment. Let me put it this way. This is a really fun way to look at it. Have you ever broken down the word human being? Like, in other words, a lot of people don't realize that a hue, H-U-E, so like I'm going to draw this out here, H-U-E. So, can you see that there? Hue. All right. What is hue? It's a quality of color. And a quality of color, like I actually have two blue shirts on here. I have a blue sweatshirt and then a blue t-shirt. And I can say they're both blue. But if you're looking at this and you're not colorblind, you can tell that one is a different hue of blue than this one. Remember, hue stands for quality of color. Okay? And it's a fractal of light. So light is basically all color is made up of the light spectrum, right? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And there's different qualities of color. If you're down here at the bottom, it's red. If you go all the way up to the top, it's that really violet color, right? And so the frequency of the energy is so different based on where you're at, what you're vibrating at. So your hue, your quality of your light is based on hue. I'm going to write down man. So what do you think man stands for? The man. Hue is your quality of color. Man is manifestation, right? And being is what your thoughts, your feelings, like how you think, act, and feel in this moment right now. So how you think, how you act, and how you feel